Excellent. Welcome everyone, welcome into the live stream. It's always a bit nerve-wracking starting a live stream. I haven't done one since November, which means you get rusty with the technology and you forget what you're supposed to click start on, what you're supposed to click stop on. So if there's people out there listening and you can hear, that would be really good if you could drop me a note in chat to say, yes, I can hear you. That would help me out tremendously. Okay, I'm just going to pull up a few things. Again, just to double check, make sure I can see a chat window. If I can remember where it is. There's the chat window. It's here somewhere. Great, there's the chat window. Fantastic, I'm glad I found it. Right, just press a few things, then we'll get started properly. The irony is, YouTube just popped up and said, try vertical streaming. I did actually think about trying vertical streaming, but I just chickened out because I'm not confident enough with regular live streaming. So let's see how we get on. Let me just pop my link out to socials so people know where they can find me. And then we'll get started properly. Excuse me very professionally going on my phone so that you can watch me do this. Okay guys, so I want to do more on Marco Pierre White. If you've been around here before, you know I've looked at Marco Pierre White recipes before. I've looked at Marco Pierre White's various courses, particularly I was on the BBC Maestro course and all the things that he did on there. His course is excellent, if not a brilliant tutorial, and some of you might even know that I posted a sort of a, I don't want to say rebuttal, but I said, hey, actually it's okay. There are some good tips in there, things about cartouches, things about seasoning from a height. Well, he's got another BBC Maestro course, and this is a vegetarian one. It's just as esoteric as his last one, full of bits and pieces of different recipes, and good old notifications going. It's full of different bits and pieces of recipes, and this one, this vegetarian course, he actually says he went vegetarian for a while. I get the impression it was kind of by accident, but he did. There we go, he did it. Only something nice and easy today, and that's a baba ganoush. If you don't know, a baba ganoush is a recipe involving an aubergine or eggplant, depending on where you are in the world, and the aubergine or eggplant is essentially smoked and yeah, they're mushed up with garlic and lemon. It's actually quite a simple recipe, but as usual, Marco's got his own takes on what makes for the perfect baba ganoush and how you do it. I've got a slightly weird setup today because I've got a single camera. I'm going to do a tiny bit of cooking behind me, but I'm not going to ignore you guys too much, I hope. So let's give that a try. So first thing I'm going to do, the first thing Marco wants you to do is to really cook this aubergine and char it essentially. So I'm going to do it on my hob over here, and on my hob I've got a rack out of the oven and placed that over the top so it's not straight in the flame, and I've got something I can lift it off. And if it ends up making a blooming mess, hopefully I'll be okay. So I'm just going to take this aubergine, turn my gas hob on, and just leave it there to blister. You could do this on the barbecue, that'd be fantastic. I might even blowtorch it if it's not working very well. So let's see. Got a pretty high heat going on. Just going to fetch my tongs because I'll need those in a moment. So it's going to form a number of pieces, and we're going to end up smoking that on there, and then we're going to mix it up with a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, there's some people in the chat. Lovely. All people I know. That's lovely to see you. So let's say a quick hello to all those in there. So as I said, we're going to take that baba ganoush first of all, blister it, char it, and then cover it with cling film, let it steam down a little bit, and then mix it up. There's going to be a little bit of waiting in there, and I thought Won't be the most exciting thing in there to watch your watch an aubergine steam. We can have a chat. Very happy to have a chat. If you've got any questions, feel free to fire it in the conversation. If you want to know about the BBC Maestro series, if you want to know about other videos on the channel, more than happy. If you want to talk about what you're making this Easter, love to hear it. Anyway, I'd also thought I'd make a flatbread. Good mate of mine, James, showed me how to make a flatbread instantly once, and it's a fantastic recipe. So I'm going to do that. It'll take no time at all to make that. Just a very quick flatbread knocked together, not a risen one, not a leavened one, no yeast or anything like that. We're just going to make it in just a few minutes. Let me just check on my aubergine, make sure I'm not burning the house down. This is the fun part. You'll get to see if the house is burning down before I do. Nothing doing yet. I'm actually thinking about changing up for metal tongs in a moment. Make across Europe, fine. Good to see you, yum. I make this every summer with my garden surplus. I don't know if I've ever made baba ganoush, you know. I've made various things like this before, but I don't think I've ever made baba ganoush. It's a very simple recipe, if I'm honest. Very, very simple. And summer, you're absolutely right. It's a great time. It works really well with a barbecue. It's great as a dip. It's great as a starter. A slight deviation I'm going to do from Marco's recipe is he recommends having another aubergine and then coring out the middle and pouring the baba ganoush back into it, and I just can't be bothered with that, and particularly as it's only me. It's literally only me in the house. I'm the only one cooking. I can't be bothered messing about with stuff like that. Hello Mia, hope you're all right. And Adam, always good to see you. It's just starting to blister now, so that's good. So let's make a start on this flatbread then. I tend not to measure this stuff. I'm only making enough for one. Let me just check how visual that is. If you can see into that bowl, lovely. Good, good, good. So I've got some self-raising flour here. You don't have to use self-raising flour. I'm just hoping for a little bit of puff by using self-raising flour. So how much is that? Nothing really. 2 honking Grate tablespoons probably. Just going to add in a little salt, maybe half a teaspoon. I can start to smell that aubergine now. I can really tell that's catching. Some rather entertaining sparks coming off that now. And I need to add some liquid into this. You can add just water. Milk works really well. If you've got some around, some sort of dairy, like natural yogurt, is perfect. The sort of active ingredients in the yogurt will react with the stuff in the self-raising flour and give it a little bit of puff, bit of rise. I'm going to add some other herbs to it just to make it a bit more interesting, because why not? I'm going to stick with the baba ganoush vibe, and I'm going to add some sumac. Anybody cooked with sumac before? Sounds a bit of a strange ingredient, but let me read it out to you. It's a tangy, lemony spice used in Middle Eastern cookery. So it's a bit like paprika, but it has this slightly tangy flavour, like lemony. It's not an easy one to describe at all, but just a pinch of that in there is going to be nice. Let's get rid of that. I'm debating whether to put some onion in there, onion powder. I think I will. Just a little shake. Again, I'm just making an easy flatbread for one, so I don't want to overthink it. So what are people's Easter plans? What are you making? What are you cooking? Is it lamb? Great brined lamb recipe up on the old YouTube channel if you want to check that out. Otherwise, people like to do beef. Perhaps you just want to go out, you just want to have a curry for dinner. I don't know. What are you doing? So I don't want to add too much yogurt to this, just enough to bring it together so it becomes a pliable dough. So I'm just going to blob in a couple of healthy teaspoons, and if I need to add more, I'll add a little bit more. This flatbread recipe isn't part of Marco Pierre White's series. This is something I've decided to add, partly because I don't have anything to eat it with, but also because I knew there'd be a bit of dead time in the middle here, where you guys are just watching me do nothing. Right, it's really sizzling and really blistering and sizzling now. It's starting to puncture. You start to see it blacken and blister. Excellent. Okay. Gonna need a touch more. It's just a little bit too dry. About another half teaspoon or so. Dirty hands now, which really annoys me. Pop my other screen on. Mia, you hope you're having beef, huh? Very good. We had beef last weekend. That was a sous vide joint of beef. I water bathed it for 24 hours. And then I roasted it very gently, very quickly, just to get a glaze on it. It was really nice. Actually got a really quiet weekend, but this, and Easter Sunday in particular, we've got no plans. So probably just going to... I've ordered some lamb. Hopefully it arrives from my Tesco shop. And then, yeah, just a quiet little roast lamb. So we can get a plate now. So I needed about half a pot of yogurt, not a lot. It's 150 grams, so 75 grams of yogurt to about 2 heaped tablespoons of our flour. Don't think I need this anymore. And let me just point it out. Just over here, brand new air fryer, which arrived last weekend. Everyone else in the family is thoroughly bored of having air fried recipes because I've been cooking nothing else but. So expect lots of air fryer recipes. I've already done a few things that will end up on the channel or on the blog, so make sure you're subscribed so you see what's coming up next. I'm in a bit of a waiting place now. Okay, that's really soft now. I'm just going to move it because the very fat end hasn't quite been catching, so I've just moved it now all the way over the heat. Kind of wish I had a second camera to show you, but I don't risk moving this one. The whole world will blow up or something. Good, happy with that. So this Marco Pierre White vegetarian course, let me bring up some of the details. As I have promised, this is a Marco Pierre White chat. Cheesy comfort dishes, a baked celeriac with cheese and truffle, truffled cauliflower cheese, endives with poached pears and Stilton, and then a taste of Italy section. So his mother was Italian, so he always has this Italian influence, even in his most French of cooking. Risotto of wild mushrooms, I've cooked that, it's very good. Vegetable lasagna, that's also really good. The vegetable lasagna recipe, if I remember rightly, is free to watch on the BBC Maestro YouTube channel. That gives you a real taste, pun intended, of what the course is about. He's about precision, he's about taking your time, he's about being careful. Yeah, it's a really tasty dish. And yes, Mia, a new air fryer. I did tell someone to let you know that I had a new air fryer. I knew you'd be pleased. Okay. This is now completely soft, so bear with me a moment. I'm going to grab some cling film. There's that smoky, charred air in the kitchen now. Let's put this where you guys can see it. Bake Across Europe, if you're still listening, what's your recipe for baba ganoush? I'd love to know. Mine's going to be just simple garlic, lemon juice, a little tahini. That reminds me, I need to get the tahini out. I've got most of my ingredients out, but not the tahini. So I'm just going to leave that there a minute. I'll get another bowl. And I'm going to scrape down that aubergine in a moment. That's just water. Just going to very carefully move this out of the way. Back into the oven. And sort of the cooking part of the baba ganoush is done. That's now going to steam there. I'm going to scrape off the skin and then mix it with other things. J Stone's using tahini sauce. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. There we go. Now I had some somewhere. Always one of those ingredients I use, then not again for 6 months. Hope you enjoyed that clattering noise in your ears. Hasn't made too much of a mess on my hob, which is always good to see. So yeah, this is steaming away now. I want this to be completely soft, so I'm going to give that a couple of minutes just to stay put and make sure he's all happy. Oh, I'm just going to move that up so you can see it. So there it is, all wrapped in cling film. It's pretty soft now, but a few more minutes steaming will ensure that it's completely cooked all the way through. As I say, before I then take it to some water just to scrape off the excess before mixing it up and seasoning it. So, excuse me dopping around. I was talking about the Marco Pierre White course. What else have we got going on? There's a lunch in the garden, very brunchy type feel to it. Asparagus spears with truffle mayo, baked tomatoes with ratatouille, artichokes, aubergine, the baba ganoush, some autumn and winter favourites. What will not surprise you is the whole section that I've watched of potato classics, which is pomme maxime, rosti, pomme boulangère, gratin dauphinoise, and buttered chip shop chips. You might have watched me do his gratin dauphinoise, and I thought it wasn't quite as good as the one I do, which I was taught by an excellent chef who just gave me an absolutely brilliant technique where you simmer the cream and milk together first, simmer the potatoes in that so they're parboiled before completing the cooking. It gives you a real control over the texture and a real control over the seasoning, which is the hardest part with the dauphinoise. But I will definitely be trying some of the other recipes, potato recipes in there. I did have a go at a pomme maxime. That was a lot of fun, but I haven't videoed it or filmed it or anything. And his buttered chip shop chips. Now this buttered chip shop chips recipe. So he makes chips in the usual way, that is diced, chipped potatoes, cooked once at a low oil, cooked again at a high heat. And then to finish it, right, he's got his chips, he's made them, and he gets a huge dollop of butter and then puts it in the chips. And I'm pretty sure he says the line something like, "And that's why I'm fat." So he can at least laugh at himself. He's often regarded as a very serious guy, but actually he can laugh at himself, which is good to know. Funny. I mean, I haven't got a full review here, that's not what this is about, but I think the vegetarian one is probably better than the standard cookery course. I just think there's more versatile things in there, and because he's deliberately limiting himself, he has then got cause to be a bit more creative with what he does. So there's a lot of very standard run-of-the-mill recipes in his normal cookery course. The vegetarian one, really interesting. I've popped a link in the description. I hope you can all see it. That would make life a lot easier if you can. Okay, how's this doing? So you can see it's pretty soft now. Yeah, it's really soft at the thin end, a little bit squishier at the fat end, but I'm okay with that. So I think what we're going to do now, let's just pick that up. See the steam coming off it there. Get rid of that for another day. I've got a knife. Get a knife. Just going to slit that. Oh, it's coming off really easy. Just move that so you can see everything a bit better. Yeah, the skin's just coming off. I'm just going to take it to the water in a minute just to finish it. And then in the water I can just flake off the rest of the skin. Because as you probably know, aubergine or eggplant skin is not particularly tasty. It gets stuck in the teeth. I haven't looked, but I'm willing to bet that's where all the nutritional value is, because that's true of basically all fruits and veg, isn't it? The skin is the most nutritious part. J Stones, I recently read the book The Devil in the Kitchen, a Marco biography. Well, have I read that? No, I haven't read it. I don't suppose you know the author, do you, J Stones? It's not one I've heard of. I shall reserve it from my library. So just concentrating there while I got rid of that bit of rubbish. Okay, going to take it to the water now. And I'm just rubbing it just to get that loose skin off. If you've watched any of my previous videos on Marco Pierre White, I've had to dive quite deeply into what makes him tick. I feel like I've got a good measure of him now. So it'd be really interesting to get a biography to see how close it is. I've watched so many interviews of him. So many interviews. Let's get rid of that. Okay. So you can see now I've cleaned it completely. Excuse me, just dry my fingers. Cleaned it completely. Let's take the head off. We hardly knew you. Okay, and then we get a little bit of skin. I'm just going to check it over for more bits of skin. Looks good, looks good. Polar Ice Creamery, hi from Canada. Polar Ice Creamery, one of my favourite channels out there. Absolute wizard at ice cream, and as some of us learnt this week, bit of a genius at both hydroponics and 3D printing as well. So, wonderful to see you. Marco Pierre White, Timothy Bentnick, 4.6 out of 5 stars, very precise. I'm assuming that's Amazon's rating and not your personal 4.6 out of 5 stars rating. Good, I shall check it out. I shall see if my library can provide me with a copy. Just popping between different screens, because if you've ever tried to go live, there's a load of things going on, and partly I want to make sure you can see what I'm doing, and partly I want to make sure I'm catching all the comments, because I don't do this often enough to have a really good setup. Okay, so not a million miles away from this being prepared. So I'm going to put the pan on, hot, ready to cook our flatbread. Remember him? That was a long time ago, wasn't it? So I've got a dry frying pan, not going to add any fat to it, he said, but I'm going to add fat right at the end. I'm just going to get some. I made some garlic butter earlier this week, literally garlic, parsley and salt, that's all it is. And before I get chopping any more, now this is one I can only do when I'm home alone, because I'm essentially going to grate raw garlic into this, which means I am going to hum. I'm not in the good way. And I think if I were doing this for more people, I would probably just sweat the garlic slightly. I would even microwave it with a tiny bit of oil in the microwave, or if you happen to have the oven on for something else, or dare I say it, the air fryer, you could just pop a bulb of garlic in there covered in foil, and you get a much more pleasant, subtle, you get all that beautiful garlic roastiness without that harsh rawness. And I'm just looking at my little grater here, and the wonderful plastic enamel is starting to come off, so I think I might have to retire this soon. I must get one of those long microplaney ones so I can feel like I'm an actual chef. Anyway, just grating about half a garlic into there. Get all the gubbins off. Bosh. I've got a junk pile over there, which is why I keep throwing stuff over there. Let's add a little bit of lemon juice for now, and I can always add more as I go on. I'm going to add the tahini right near the end. Did you see that? Phew! I'm going to add the tahini right at the end because it will start making it sloppy and hard to work with. Big pinch of salt, I think. Bake Across Europe, you and I were talking about salt the other day, I think it was yesterday. I've always got Maldon salt in this salt pig. Big pinch of salt there. Little grind of pepper. Obviously we'll check all that before serving. Okay, in now. And now I'm just going to chop and fold. This is not clever, sophisticated stuff. I've even got out my old faithful heavy wooden chopping board, which I only get out for special occasions. Where are we? 6:58. This is my dinner. Flatbread and a little aubergine. I know, and the reason why is because I made bread and butter pudding, so I've got a huge dessert to follow. What's everyone having for dinner tonight? Nick, that's a few hours off for you, no doubt, over in Alberta. But this is my dinner. So okay, it's now fairly chopped. So I'm going to add in the tahini. Can't bother to use my finger because it's a pain in the neck to get off. And just looking at that, I'm almost certain it's going to need more lemon juice. I think I'm going to need more coming off of it. You know, technical term. A bit more aroma, you know, a bit more heft coming off of it. Nice. But we'll try a bit nonetheless. Obviously, when you're cooking this for other people, you can't do this, but because I'm cooking it for myself, definitely got the garlic. But yeah, needs more lemon. And it's going to need more salt. Lovely. Bosh. Okay, my pan's screaming hot now, so it's probably going to make quite a lot of smoke and mess. How is the audio, by the way, for you guys listening right now? Is it okay? It's really hard to tell the audio levels when you're working by yourself and you don't do live streaming very often. There are lots of little bits and bobs you have to look after. So let me know how the audio is. And I haven't mentioned it already, but if you haven't done so already, the top comment or the first comment of the day was Adam Garrett. Absolutely, thank you, J Stones, thank you, that really helps. Adam Garrett, one of the comments up there, absolutely smashing guy. I can remember when he started out on YouTube, just finding his way, and now he's got, I'm going to get this wrong, 50,000 subscribers, maybe more. He's brilliant. Anyway, excellent guy, top bloke. I'd really like to go and stalk him at some point. He gave me loads of advice when I was starting out as well, which I'm forever grateful for. Super, super guy. Go check his channel out. Okay, we're nearly there. I'm going to stop at that point, and I'm going to add my little ball of dough which has rested. As I feel it, it's a little bit tacky and it's going to get stuck on the pan, so I'm just going to add flour to the surface so that it doesn't, when I take my hand away, it doesn't stick, right? That's what I'm looking for. I'm going to push it down further once it's in the pan. Ba-ba-bum. So all that is, empty, dry frying pan, got pretty hot because you're looking to cook and crisp the outside as quick as possible. Now, those of you that missed that at the start, I haven't used any raising agent other than the fact it's self-raising flour. Therefore, it's going to not rise. It's going to puff slightly in the heat, and the yogurt and other bits and bobs are going to react together. It's not going to rise. You're just going to get a slight bubbling and puffing, like a naan bread style, but not quite as good as that. Like a pan scone or a griddle scone. Now that's started, I'm going to turn that down to a medium-high heat. Little oil, because why not? You can see the smoke coming off there now. That's only going to take like 2 more minutes. So I think it's time to plate up. Obviously, if you do multiple aubergines at once, you can serve loads of people. This is just enough for me today. Nice, nice, nice. Gonna leave some room. I think I'm going to move my board now. That's done its job. You can have a better look. Secrets of the trade. Sticky webbing. If you go down cheap shops, 1 second. Nice. If you go down cheap shops, you'll find that they sell this stuff that you put under carpets to stop mats running, stop them slipping. And I have a whole roll of that I cut up and put under chopping boards to stop them from moving. Thoroughly recommend it. So I'm going to add a little extra yogurt here, because why not? Nice. Chef's perk. I'm going to bring that back because you guys can't see it properly. Add a little bit of lemon. I lied. I need my chopping board. Some fresh herbs, just parsley, that's all it is. Nothing clever. I thought I had some, but no, I had to run down the shop quickly and get some. Nice, nice, nice. I think that could do with a touch more oil. And this isn't in Marco's recipe, but I think this would look really nice. I am here, I promise. I'm just searching through my spice drawer. That's what I was after. A little dot of paprika. Excellent, that's what I wanted. Probably adds almost nothing to the flavour, but it looks nice, and that's what I want. Got my bread now. Bread's come out. Yeah. Kind of a little pancake thing. So I'm just going to slice that so you can make it thinner if you wanted. No big deal. Just going to add my flatbreads there. I'm also going to get a photo because it comes in handy for thumbnails and things and for reference later on. J Stones, you purchased a vinyl sheet that goes under the chopping board. Works great, totally reusable. Excellent. Exactly that. In a pinch, obviously, you can use kitchen roll. If you just dampen it slightly, pop it under your board, stops that shaking effect. Just need to change angles for a moment so I can see if I can see you. There we go. Baba ganoush with flatbread. Taken me about 35 minutes because I've been mucking about and talking to you guys. But I guess we need to try it properly. So let's dig in and give it a go. Lots of weird faces for the thumbnail. Excuse me, just checking a few things. Great, great. All right, let's get in there. Let's get a bit of stuff. It's obviously good. I went back for another bit. Yeah. It's warming, it's nourishing, it's got a smoky flavour because it was left on the hob. It's full of garlic, it's full of lemon. It's not subtle at all. But this puffy flatbread, yeah, which we made in a couple of minutes. And again, I've made them 5 minutes start to end before when I've been under the cosh and suddenly realised I don't have any bread for dinner. Yes, that'll do it. Excellent. Good. So that's Marco Pierre White's smoked baba ganoush recipe with a little flatbready thing that I added on the side. Otherwise, it's a bit hard to eat. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. I'm going to start wrapping things up now so that I can eat this and enjoy it. I really appreciate you all hanging out this evening. I'll probably chop this up and turn it into more of a proper tutorial type video when I get a minute. I hope you enjoyed that. I've got a massive video coming out this Sunday that I've poured a lot of work into. Not quite a recipe, you'll see when you get there. And I hope you all stay tuned and check out that. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I've been Gary from Big Spud, and I will catch you next time.